Hi, I'm Ellie from crystallinks.com. It's Wednesday, February 15th, 2017. This morning I was having a conversation with a friend about Ascension because it's something that a lot of people are talking about right now. What him and I shared was that the concept of Ascension and the end of one reality or one hologram or one, whatever you want to call it, into the next is something that has been part of the mythologies of many ancient civilizations. Sometimes it's a result of destruction and rebirth. I think you're familiar with that pattern in mythology. Each culture seems to have its own way of saying, we are going to ascend, we're going to leave physical reality, and we're going to go somewhere else. In this timeline, I connect with the concept of not that we're ascending in the sense of, okay, we're out of here, in the sense of things coming full circle, that we do live in a holographic illusion and that's coming full circle. Other friends have told me that we're moving into higher frequency, higher vibration. It's the way you're programmed to understand it. It really doesn't matter. No one's really right, no one's really wrong. It just means the end of the cycle of time, which is important to know. When I think of that through all the studies I've done through my lifetime, I always go back to the Hebrew bloodline, not just because I'm Jewish, but there's something encoded within the alphabet, within the symbols, within the light. And today, as I thought about all of that, and do I or do I not want to talk about Ascension, we're right now dealing with more Trump stuff, should we call it, okay, and mismanagement and misdirection. And I had originally posted about Mike Flynn, who was fired by Trump yesterday, and that's another blog. I'm not going to go to that. But then I was guided really to go and turn the TV on, and there was Trump, and he was shaking hands with Netanyahu, who has come here from Israel. And this thought came into my mind, the meeting of the minds. Not that these two guys are going to do anything special, not that they're going to agree on a lot of things, they're going to try. I mean, Trump needs to find some allies now because he's not doing very well as president. He hasn't been there 100 days and things are really unraveling, shall we say. But I looked at the two men shaking hands. The thought meeting of the minds came to me. And suddenly I found myself back into the beginning of, let's just say, this part of the hologram, because there's many parts of the whole hologram. And I saw myself back in ancient Egypt and Sumer when a biogenetic experiment called humans was created. Yes, I know what you're going to say, Ellie, that's a myth. But it's a myth, yes, but we do know we are a biogenetic experiment that has come here to study emotions. Okay, that's a given already. Most people understand that regardless of their religion and their mythological backgrounds. But here we are, and we're standing on the threshold of something. And as I went back in time from Egypt, and I saw the whole thing, I saw Egypt coming together, I saw Atlantis coming together, I saw everything that we call the Middle East coming together. In my eyes, this whole hologram and the human experiment started in Sumer. You may have a different perspective, but that's fine. And all of a sudden, I was just like back in that timeline and seeing it come full circle. It's actually coming full circle. And that was the East, and we are the West. And there is Trump and Netanyahu, they're shaking hands. And all I kept seeing is this overlay of East meets West and what's going on in that dynamic and what it's really about. I also wrote this. Some years ago, I met a man in a Jewish center. He's actually the one who gave me these earrings. So I said, perfect. He was Jewish, but he wasn't necessarily a rabbi or anybody who's who's part of that order, but he said to me, he said, a long time ago, the story of our reality rose in the East and it sets in the West. And his words came to me because I live in New York, and New York is the West, and the East is where I went. And this is another going full circle. It's coming full circle. Everything is. Whatever your belief in Ascension, no matter how you follow it, no matter where you go with it, whether you're a believer in the metaphysical teachings, the mythological teachings, whatever it is that calls to you, that's going to get you to understand that we're moving out of this hologram, then that's where you're going to go, and that's what you're going to follow. There are people who have numeric codes like 1111, 1212, double digits. That's an Ascension code, because everything is math and physics. It's all math and science. Everything is. It's meta science and metaphysics, okay? So they just kind of go hand in hand. But the point of Ascension is you're feeling something, and that's why you're sitting there watching this. You don't know exactly when it's going to happen, because time is an illusion, so no one can put a date on when this is all going to happen. But you feel it, you sense it, you feel the disconnect more and more and more. The harder it is to live here on this planet at this time, and it's getting pretty difficult for many people. They're feeling the emotional depressions and anxieties and fears and that whole gamut of emotions that makes the soul and takes the soul out of physical reality. When you're in fear and you're in shock and you see something live, in your reality, like an accident or something else, it puts you in a state of almost suspended animation, time travel, grid travel, something that takes you away from this reality. The way it seems today, the way things are unfolding, this is the way the whole planet seems to be going. It could have to do with Trump becoming president, because it's obviously orchestrated, and I don't think it has to do with the Russians, not directly. It's something more, it's something cosmic. Something put Trump in place, maybe to scare us out of our physical bodies, maybe to do something else. His connection was, as always with Trump, it was somewhat superficial with Netanyahu, but it was just something from Netanyahu. I said it wrong. I knew I said it wrong. But it was just something that in that moment when I saw them for about a half a second, and I don't generally do this, I don't meditate, I don't get into any of the airy-fairy stuff. I've read everything there is to read on Ascension. You can go look up anything you want, you can join a group, you can meditate, you can feel your energies rising and lifting and going. But at the end of the day, what this is about to me is we're in a hologram, physical and non-physical, and everything you can imagine that's going on out there, and then things you can't even fathom. And that's all coming to closure now. And that's why there may be times you may feel a disconnect, or I can't handle what's going on in my life or in the world, or why don't things make sense? Why doesn't anything make sense anymore? It's not going to. It's definitely not going to. Things are going to continue in this chaotic fashion with Trump is not the only chaotic leader in the world also. His whole business with Putin and China and wherever else he's going to go. It's stuff. I just look at it as stuff in the grids. I do wish politics was being handled by the politicians, because I've never been into politics and the politicians. I've never actually been that enmeshed in metaphysics, but I've studied, I've read, I've experienced, I've done a little meditation and whatever. All I can tell you is whatever your definition of Ascension is, wherever you think this experience is going, that's what's going to happen, and it's going to happen soon. And you will understand in that time, in that moment. I call it fade to black, okay? But in that fade to black second, which some people might sense it before it happens. A lot of people are starting to dream the fade to black dreams, like, oh, the hologram was rebooted. I had a dream we were rebooted, or the tsunami dreams, or these dreams, or those dreams, or aliens came and took us away, or you want to dream about something more religious and closer to the home. Whatever, it doesn't matter. There's no right, there's no wrong, there just is. But this feeling of we are ascending, we meaning the whole kit and caboodle of humanity and everything in the whole entire hologram, it is going to fade to black. And it will happen like that. It's just going to be, you could be out for a walk, you could be watching TV, you could be sleeping, you could be doing anything. You could be with your family, and then all of a sudden, you just look up, you look out, and everything is just black. Not black like the night sky, black like black. And in that second, okay, all the things you see as precursors for closure are all going to happen. Whether you see your religious person coming back, your religious icon, whatever you see, whatever you connect with, this closure or ascension or, whatever it means to you, that's all going to go right in front of your eyes like a screen, and it's all going to be like, whoa, I'm having an out-of-body experience because I'm not really in a body anymore. Your life, your experiences, everybody's experience will flash in front of you, the whole totality, and in a nanosecond, you will understand everything. And then we return to the collective unconscious to do whatever. I don't know what's next because I'm limited here, like all of us, as to what's going on in the greater collective. But just know that this ascension thing, by any term, by any definition, by any thought pattern you have, this ascension is happening, it's coming. Go with it, ride with it. You can't change anything. You really can't. You can't change. The things in your life will unfold the way they're supposed to, for good or for bad. You can't change relationships because other people are also processing that something major is coming. If you don't feel this coming, then you're probably brain dead, because the average client who comes here has no metaphysical background, no religious background, will just tell me, yeah, something is happening, something big is happening, they just don't know what or when or where. So you define it in your words, but try to connect into the grids, the consciousness grids that create the reality, and see and feel and experience. We're here to feel it. We're here to grasp at it and feel it and connect with it. On that note, I say thank you.